टू अनदर वीडियो और आपका आज वीडियो में
स्वागत
और
है।
आज जो वीडियो हम लेकर आए हैं उसको हम दो हिस्सों में देखेंगे क्योंकि वीडियो की लेंथ काफी ज्यादा थी, तो इस वजह से हम लोगों ने डिसाइड किया कि आधा पार्ट हम आज देखेंगे और आधा कल देखेंगे। और टाइटल बताएंगे मौसम,
टाइटल है काशी कोनंड्रम प्रसून जोशी विद सदगुरु।
तो चलिए देख लेते हैं ये वीडियो। लेकिन इससे पहले
इस वीडियो के चैनल का ओरिजिनल लिंक आपको मेरी वीडियो की डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। सब्सक्राइब करें, लाइक करें, शेयर करें, फॉलो करें इनके चैनल को। उसके अलावा मेरे ब्लॉग चैनल का लिंक इंस्टाग्राम का लिंक भी हमारी वीडियो की डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा। सब्सक्राइब करें, लाइक करें, शेयर करें, फॉलो
तो
करें।
चलिए देख लेते हैं ये वीडियो।
So I am with someone who is full of contradictions. Someone I've recently met, and one thing which describes him for me is that he's absolutely authentic. Full of contradictions, full of energy, full of wit. On one hand, he's devastatingly logical. On another hand, he deepens the mystery of the whole world. He does not dissect it, but he makes it very approachable for you. He's someone who is very unconventional, mystic. He's someone who does not scare you with, the gargantuan or the majestic. He's something which you can touch, feel. He's here with you. He talks the language of today. He talks the language of science. He talks the language of logic. And that's what makes him absolutely special. And I'm privileged to have him here with us and would love to spend some time.
Hi, Prasoon. Please sit down.
So, it's your first time in Varanasi, or you've been here before?
I've been here before, but more in the passing, just for a day. I was here. This is the time really I'm spending time here.
You must have thought a lot about this place. How does it match up to what you thought?
Today morning somebody was asking me, how do you feel about Varanasi? So I told them it's fabulous and filthy. I think that's relevant. In many ways, in terms of what's been done here in the past, it is the most fabulous place on the planet. But the way it is here today, definitely it's not the way anybody would desire a great place like this to be. So leaving the filth and the politics and whatever else that's happening around here, because those things can be changed, I think we need to focus on a magnificent amount of work that's been done here in the past. Not just me, I'm sure so many people in the past, many travelers from various parts of the world who have come here, in their own words they have said it. People like Mark Twain, Max Muller, some of the Chinese travelers in the last millennium, they have said things that has not been said about any other place. And in terms of its antiquity, nobody is able to fix a date as to where it is. The Banaras Hindu University has archaeological proof to say it is over 7,000 years.
Wow.
And over 7,000 could be anything.
Yeah.
The whole effort is to make the limited human being connect with the unlimited. This is always the fundamental of Eastern life. This is not a culture based on some religious belief. We're always seeing that cosmos is just a larger manifestation of who we are. Otherwise, or another way is, we are just a tiny micro manifestation of the cosmos.
But that's what science also says. I mean, you are part of the energy, you are part from the…
To some extent, but serious scientists will not accept that.
Yeah.
So because of this, the whole effort is to connect. Why should I connect? Well, every human being, wherever he is, whatever he is in his life, he's always trying to be something more than who he is right now. If that something more happens, he wants something more. If you look at it, he's always longing to become limitless. There is no particular boundary which will settle him. It is the boundlessness which will settle him.
But isn't it just a thought? Or is it…
It is not a thought, it's a longing.
Longing generated by a thought.
No, no. Longing is generating thoughts, not the other way around.
Yeah, but it's a vicious circle.
No, no, no.
It's a continuum of thoughts.
No, no.
And it goes on from like a relay race, we pass it on from one generation to another and you strengthen. Is it a lint of myths?
You don't teach anything to the next generation. Still they will long for something more. It is just that if you're living in a village, you have one cow, you're thinking of 2 cows. You're living in Mumbai, you are thinking of billions maybe. Because there is an innate longing to expand, always. Expansion, different people may find it in different currencies, depending upon what they're exposed to. That is thought.
Yes. So someone who lives
what
here…
you long for is a thought.
Yes.
But your longing is not a thought. Even if there is no thought, there is a longing.
Yeah, but what you long for, and especially in the case of spiritualism, when you say, I want to connect to the larger source, wouldn't it be very basic? It was not learned, it was not taught, it was not imbibed by me. I would not long for a superior sort of…
You wouldn't be able to articulate. You wouldn't be able to articulate. But you are going towards the infinite in installments. It's a hopeless way to do it, that's all. It is the culture which cultures you to make you understand, don't waste your whole life going by installments towards infinite, it's not going to work. It'll become an endless run. If you want to say infinite, you start from 1, 2, 3, 4, you will only become endless counting, you will not make it. Your longing is fine, but the method that is being employed is hopeless. So, in this culture, from the moment you are born, they said there is no need to go in installments, you seek the ultimate straight away. The only reason why it's not possible is because you're thinking physical. Physically you're trying to become limitless, which is an impossible thing. Because the nature of physicality is a defined boundary. Without a defined boundary, there is no physical in the existence, isn't it?
Yeah.
So with this a defined boundary, you're trying to seek a place which is boundless. It is not going to work. See, there is something within every human being that he does not like boundaries. Suppose I imprison you in 5 by 5 cubicle, you will feel horribly imprisoned. If I liberate you tomorrow and release you into a 10 by 10 cubicle, you'll feel great for a day.
But is it so? Because I've seen stories of people who were born inside a cage. And isn't it that if you do not know the other reality at all, then this reality is your reality. And the desire for freeing yourself is not there at all because you do not know the meaning of freedom.
So the desire is not for freeing
If I imprison a child, right from the one day the child is born, and he is suspended reality, he does not have any…
a little larger cage.
Do you think so?
Definitely.
Does a parrot want a larger cage, yeah?
Definitely. You do one thing, you put a parrot for 1 year in a small cage, release him into a larger cage, see how happy he will see? He will fly all over the place and he's very happy.
Is it my understanding of freedom which makes me feel that he's happy, or is it the parrot which is actually happy?
The parrot would be most happy if it can fly free. That is unquestionable.
But if the parrot was born inside
If the
cage…
parrot does not know what it means to fly across in the sky…
Yeah, then what would happen?
It is always looking out of the cage because it wants the cage to expand a little bit. That you cannot deny. You try, experiment and see.
Yeah, I completely understand when it's known to you what it is to be free.
What you're trying to say is, this longing for freedom or expansion is a conditioned response.
Yeah.
If you're conditioned otherwise, you will not.
Yeah.
Not true. You may not think that big. That's why I'm saying people are going in installments.
Yeah, it's a good one.
See, wherever your parents were, you're taught to expand little more. You're not suddenly thinking of becoming the emperor of the universe, okay? You're thinking of how to be a successful businessman in Mumbai. But if that happens, you would like to be a most successful businessman in the country. If that happens, you would like the world, isn't it? If that happens, if there is a possibility to become the top businessman in the galaxy, would you try?
Yeah.
So that longing to expand is always there. How much you think beyond is dependent upon how you're conditioned. But the longing to expand is there. If that expansion happens, you seek the next. You're going towards the infinite in installments. It is a hopeless condition.
That's a very interesting one. I never thought like that. So, Yeah, I always thought that, if you don't have knowledge,
That's not true.
you don't seek it. It's a chicken and egg.
No. No.
So you're saying you seek first, the knowledge comes later.
Only because people did seek, knowledge came. Knowledge did not exist to start with. To start with, knowledge did not exist. Only it's human seeking which brought all the knowledge and science and technology and everything, isn't it?
It started from somewhere for sure.
First, from seeking.
Yes.
From human longing to expand. So here, they created a yantra, a machine, through which everybody can benefit. If you just be in this space, it'll naturally orient you towards ultimate liberation.
When you talk about this instrument, which brings me to a question I always ask about yoga, and I feel these asanas. And it's my point of view, I mean, maybe absolutely wrong, but I feel there's too much of greed in that to learn from other animals. Why snake is doing like this? Why?
Whoever told you this?
I think like that. I'm telling you. That's why I'm asking.
No, whoever told you that we learned it from the snake?
I mean, you say this asana, that asana. I feel that why are you doing like a dog and why are you doing like a lion? Everything you want to learn from anybody has anything. I want to get the best of it.
No.
Is it greed or is it?
No, the yoga that you have heard about and come in touch with is a rebound from American coast. Okay. People are writing books saying yoga started in California and Madonna was the first practitioner. Okay. Yoga started over 15,000 years ago when Adiyogi taught yoga to his first 7 disciples who are today celebrated as Saptarishis. The yoga that he taught is not a physical exercise, nor is it about animals. People name it according to what there is. See, now you get into this pose, what is this? Give it a name. What? It looks like a boat. We call it a boat pose, Naukasana. This is nothing to do with the animals. You sit like this, for me you look like something, and I'll say that, because otherwise how to give a name?
It's just a convenience of names.
Nothing to do with the animals.
Yeah. No, I thought,
No.
so some of the…
Yoga…
I'm very little sort of knowledgeable about yoga, so that's the reason it's a very naive question. I felt…
The physical asanas are like this. See, if in 70s or early 80s, if you had a television at home, now you're watching your favorite program, suddenly it goes boop, boop, boop in the middle. Then you were a little boy, you want to run up the terrace and there's a piece of aluminium, you adjust it like this. If you get it to the right place, again the whole world pours in.
Correct.
So yoga means just this, getting your body aligned with the cosmic geometry. If you just learn to hold this right, if you just learn how to sit right, okay, you can download the whole cosmos. It is from that basis that Kashi has been created. To create a large human body, a magnificent human body which doesn't have the inertia of carrying physicality with it, so that it will be on all the time and it can just download the whole process. That is what the phenomenal effort that they made in Kashi.
Great.
An individual can do it, but to make it happen for many people is a different game.
So you mean if you see a satellite view of Kashi, it would resemble a kind of a yantra or something like that?
Definitely. Even if you come up in a hot air balloon or a helicopter, you can see the yantra form. That is the physical aspect. But some people are claiming they have taken pictures of the energy form, which I have not seen. Just in the last 2 days, people have been telling me, some journalists.
That's exactly how I was introducing you, that you do not mystify it beyond a point, and that's what I like about you especially, because I feel in the world of religion and the spirituality, you can, because there's so many layers…
The work of a guru is to make the mystical available to the existing human being. What is available, they're making it mystical.
Yes.
What is already grasped, that they're trying to make it mystical. No, what has not been grasped, which seems mysterious to other people, you bring it down in a way that people can grasp it. That is your work. Not to take away what they have, that is political job.
But how do you draw a line between, being… where you said scientific, yantra, and being superstitious? Where does one draw a line?
See, most of the superstitions that exist in the country today are A science is being transmitted in a dialectical form. So when few generations dropped the science because of external invasions, disturbances in the society, when they could not transmit the science, only the stories went by. Without the science, when the stories go by, they will get exaggerated to a point of ridiculousness. Simple things. In Karnataka, there is a belief that if you invite a guest to house, you must keep a pounding stick. If you invite somebody for a lunch, you must place a pounding stick. So as soon as a guest comes, they keep a pounding stick as if they want to beat him. So where does it come from? If you trace and go, particularly if you invite them for a non-vegetarian meal, you must have a pounding stick. It goes back and says, they said, if you invite your guest for a non-vegetarian meal, when there were no dentists and no dental cleaning and all this stuff, non-vegetarian food is something that sticks in people's teeth, so you must always keep a toothpick. There were no ready-made Chinese-made toothpicks, so you had to get to, go to some fresh plant and pluck one this thing. You said always you keep a stick. That stick became bigger and became a pounding stick.
Amazing.
They want us to go to the…
Yeah, fantastic.
If a tiger is born, it is not thinking how to become a good tiger. Just eat well, it will become a good tiger. That's not the case with a human being. Because what is a good human being, still we have not defined. Okay? What is a good tiger, we know. What is a good dog, we know. But we do not know what is a good human being yet.
Or is it that it's a vicious circle and which is unnecessarily complicated, because end of the day, a bliss a tiger can experience, a human being cannot experience, or we are cursed forever?
No. This is a possibility, this is not a curse. Possibilities are experienced as curse when people look at it fearfully. See, when you look at a possibility from the instinct of self-preservation, you will always see it as a problem. You're looking at it because you want to strengthen your fortress, but at the same time you're looking at a possibility of going beyond, which is always seen as a problem. All possibilities are experienced as problems by those people who are living with strong sense of self-preservation. You're extending that self-preservation to psychological preservation, emotional preservation. These are not to be preserved, these are to be liberated.
So you're saying that self-preservation is fine as far as it's confined to the body,
yes,
not to the thought and the mind?
No. Your thought, suppose I destroy all your thought today, what's your problem? You will run out tomorrow?
No, but it will destroy your identity.
That is all we are trying to destroy. Your identity is a self-created nonsense.
Yeah.
So when it's created by you, you must be willing to put it down. What is Creator's creation, this body, you can't recreate it, so you don't damage that.
So what
this needs to be preserved.
But what do you say to that, I think, therefore I am? And what do you have to say for that?
You tell me. Because you are, you may think, isn't it? Only because you are, you may think. Not because you think you are. So somebody is so engrossed in his own thought, you're so full of yourself, you think your thought is the basis of creation. No. Your thought is just a small aspect of creation. It has its relevance, it has its beauty, but it's a very limited aspect. Your thought will fit into your life, but your life will never ever fit into your thought.
Yeah.
The thought should be yours, you should not become that of the thought. Thought is an instrument that you should learn to use.
You should not become a product of thought. Thought should be a product of you.
Yes, right now the thought is using you.
Yeah.
What your thought says is only coming from the information that it already has, isn't it?
Yeah.
The existing data is generating these thoughts. That is not a vision, that is not some kind of an insight into something.
That's conditioning.
No, but it's useful. Because thought is the only way you can use the information that you already gathered. Nothing wrong with it, it's a great tool. But a tool should be used by you, you should not be used by the tool.
I get it. I get it.
Please.
On one hand, we say that, this is just change of clothes. But Why do people glorify when they come to Kashi the death so much? Why do we need so much of ritual around? So one is this question which comes to mind. Second thing is, what is this moksha? What is this mukti? That why isn't it against life, rebirth, everything? Isn't it that we are glorifying death far too much, and ultimate death in Kashi, which is mukti, it means we are against life? We think that being reborn is a curse? These are the questions which I wanted to ask you.
Did you enjoy your school?
Yes, I did.
Schooling, you enjoyed it?
Yes.
But were you very eager to go to college? So when you passed out of your 10th,
Yes, I think so.
10th or 12th standard,
Yeah.
suppose we admitted you again to kindergarten because you enjoyed it so much, would you like it? Or would you like to go to college?
I simply did not think that time. It's just that it's natural thing that you go into next.
It's to go to the next stage, isn't it? So if you've seen enough of this life, you want to go to the next stage, you don't want to do the same thing again. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, but what one says when one says about moksha, what I have heard, maybe it's a half-baked knowledge, but the fact is that you will not be reborn again.
Yes.
You will. So being why is such
You
an
don't want
effort?
to go back to kindergarten again, what's wrong with that?
No, but you're saying that you don't want to go there, go anywhere after that.
No, that's not…
You don't want to be born in any form.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't want to go back to school once again.
So every form is a school, you're saying.
It's one stage of life.
But then why do we say that being born as an ant and being born as a human being are two different things?
Because of the possibility, not because we think we are superior. Nobody in this part of the world has ever told you that you are made in God's own image or anything like this. That is the reason why we have all kinds of gods and goddesses. In Kashi, they manufactured 33 million gods and goddesses. In the form of an elephant, in the form of a snake, in the form of a cow, in the form of a dog, every kind. Just to make you understand, every life has its place. And there is no life happening here without the hand of Creator being actively involved in it. If you watch an ant closely enough, it's a magnificent piece of engineering and mechanics and creation. So, it cannot be happening without the hand of the Creator in it. That is the reason why in this culture we told you, if you look at a tree, you bow down, you look at a rock, you bow down, you look at a cow, you bow down, you look at God, you do the same thing, you look at a man, woman or child, you do the same thing. Because you recognize the hand of the divine is in everything that is there. Every atom cannot function without the source of creation throbbing in it. For yourself, did you create this body from outside? Did you borrow it from outside? Or did it happen from within? You gave it food from outside, but making a banana into a human being happened from within, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there is an intelligence and a competence which is the very source of creation within this. Otherwise you cannot transform a chapati into a human being. It is happening all the time. So now, to acknowledge that, first thing. So that is the reason all kinds of gods, everything is divine in this country. Here the saying is, Shiva himself said, Kashi ka Kankar Shiv Shankar. Every stone in Kashi is Shiva.
Yeah.
So you don't bow down to one thing and not bow down to another thing. Everything you bow down because everything has an element of the source of creation. The possibility of human being is that you can realize that.
Yeah, but the fact that Kashi is so significant, what is the significance of this city?
These rituals are not glorification of death. This is not a celebration. This is a scientific process. Being in Mumbai city, you might not know this. If you ask the people in the villages or if you run an undertaker's business, you would know this. A dead body up to 11 to 12 days continues to grow its nails and hair and things like that. Do you know this?
Yeah.
It's a fact of life.
I've heard this, yes.
So because when you happened in your mother's womb, you didn't happen like a flash. It happened slowly over a period of time. Similarly, when the prana leaves the body, it happens slowly. Someone may be practically dead. For all practical purposes, he may be dead. But still, the prana is not left his system. Still it is there. There are many ways to use this also, and above all, As long as the prana is there in the body, the person who's left the body is confused. See, from outside observers, we think he is dead. As far as he is concerned, he slipped out of the body. When I say slipping out of the body, let's set up a proper perspective for this. When you were born, your body was only this much. Now it became this much. How? You gathered it from outside, isn't it? This is just a piece of the planet. From the food that you ate, you gathered it. What you gather can be yours. You can claim it to be yours for now, but it cannot be you, isn't it? Can it be you?
Then what am I?
Don't jump now. Whatever you gather, it can be yours at the most, it cannot be you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I gather this clothing, and after some time if I say, this is me, this is insanity, isn't it? That's what has happened to people. They gather this body and they think they are this. So this insanity has set in. Because the majority is with you and we are following democratic systems, whatever the majority says is right. But that's stupid. You know you gathered it. What you gather cannot be you. It's nothing short of insanity. Because everybody is in the same condition, we think it's okay. But what is not okay is not okay. So the basis of all human suffering and confusion and lack of understanding of life has come from this one point, that you don't understand that you are mortal every moment of your life. So the purpose of making a public display of cremations here is for you to know that you are mortal. And you realize you're mortal. When your time is up, you come to Kashi, preparing yourself to die. So, this mortality is the only thing which fires you to think of what's beyond. If you were immortal, you wouldn't think of anything, your life would have no meaning, isn't it? Only because it's going to end. And what is going to end is just what you gathered. This body is a loan that you've taken from this planet. You take the loan from the planet, when the time to repay comes, because most people have made nothing of it except thinking rubbish in their head, psychological realities, however big they may be, they will collapse in a moment. When the moment of death comes, what you thought, what you felt, your thought and emotion will mean nothing. Existentially, what have you done with this being? That's all that matters. That dimension is largely obliterated in the society today because of very strong Western influence.
Before, sir, you answer the question, I had jotted down this in a form of poem. It's in Hindi, will I tell you exactly what it means. रोज मर रहा हूँ मैं, शब्द शब्द, बूंद बूंद, लम्हा लम्हा, किस्तों में. रोज मर रहा हूँ मैं, शब्द शब्द, बूंद बूंद, लम्हा लम्हा, किस्तों में. खर्च हो रहा हूँ, व्यक्त हो रहा हूँ, अभिव्यक्त हो रहा हूँ. मेरे विचारों के शुक्राणु छूट रहे हैं, बिलबिला रहे हैं. शरीर को देखता हूँ, किसका शरीर है ये? किसकी उंगलियां हैं ये? किसके नाखून? किसकी सांस है ये जो शोर करती है आते जाते? किसकी धड़कन है ये जो एक लय में कब से चल रही है? क्या मेरा विचार है जो मैं हूँ? क्या जो इस वक्त बोल रहा है वो मैं हूँ? क्या तन सिर्फ एक यंत्र है जहाँ रहती हैं मेरी युक्तियाँ? क्या तन सिर्फ एक वाद्य यंत्र है जिसमें बजता है मेरा संगीत? फिर भी लगातार ये एहसास कि मैं कम हो रहा हूँ, कम कम और कम. पर विचार हावी हो जाता है, मुझे आश्वस्त कर देता है कि मैं जितना खर्च हो रहा हूँ उतना ही बढ़ रहा हूँ. तन का क्षरण और मेरे होने में वृद्धि. मेरे विचार का रूप बढ़ता जा रहा है, मेरा वैचारिक रूप बढ़ता जा रहा है. मेरी वैचारिक संतानें फल फूल रही हैं. मैं घिस घिस कर एक टुकड़ा रह जाऊंगा और फिर टुकड़ा टुकड़ा विलीन. पर वैचारिक में कद में बहुत बड़ा. क्या मैं मर रहा हूँ या मैं बढ़ रहा हूँ? What I tried to say here is exactly as I asked you that what is exactly death? Is the decaying of body or the dying of body is death? On one hand, my body is dying, and my thoughts, my ideas are becoming something which the world suppose embraces, and they live without me. So is it? Would you call it death? What would you define death as?
Have you ever died? It's all right, for poetry you wrote. Have you really ever died? Did you die and come back? No. In your experience, no, isn't it? Did you ever see somebody who died and came back?
I haven't seen anyone.
Have you ever seen a dead man?
I don't think so.
So you have not seen one, you have not met one, nor have you experienced. So where did you get this idea that you will die?
It is learned thought.
That's what. It is a fiction of the ignorant, created by the ignorant. There is no such thing as death. There's just life, life and life, moving from one dimension to another. So only when people are ignorant and their vision of life and their perception of life is very limited to physical nature of the existence, then they will think of life and death. Otherwise, there's just life and life.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you are saying death does not exist?
Don't believe me what I say, I am only asking you, let us remove…
No, I understand what you're
Let us remove what's not true. Let us not talk about
No,
truth.
but you know, if you forget philosophy and you see what you see, is that there was a person whom you could touch and feel?
No,
That person.
there was a body that you could touch and feel. Many times desperately you tried to touch the being, but you never did. At the most you touch their body, you touch their thoughts, you touch their emotions, you try to touch them, but you never did.
But you feel their absence when they are not there.
Because a body is missing, a mind is missing, the chatter is missing, emotions are missing. That's what you're missing, you're not missing the being at all.
बात करें अगर आज इस वीडियो की तो नो डाउट आप जब भी किसी भी चीज़ को जो है ना, ये खासतौर पर इंसानों को जब आप बाउंड करना शुरू हो जाते हैं ना, तो उनके अंदर एक अपनी ही जुस्तजू पैदा होती है कि वो जो लिमिट्स उनके आगे लगाई जा रही है उसे फलांग कर देखें कि आखिर उस साइड पर जाकर होता क्या है।
Well, मैं हमेशा की तरह ये बोलूंगी कि सदगुरु की वीडियोस को समझना आसान
नहीं है।
आप जितनी भी उनकी डिस्कशन सुनते हो आपको बहुत कंसंट्रेशन से सुननी पड़ती है, क्योंकि ये चीजें कभी आपने पहले उस तरीके से नहीं सुनी होती। तो आपको शायद पहली दफा में वो चीजें इतनी अच्छे से समझ नहीं आती, बट कुछ ऐसी चीजें जो आपके लिए हाँ सोचने पर आप मजबूर हो जाते हो। जैसे एक मुझे बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग लगा कि इंसान ने चीजें कैसे सीखी, पहले उसने खुद उन चीजों को तलाश किया और उसके बाद जो है उसके पास नॉलेज आया। अदरवाइज अगर हम लोग आज के टाइम पर देखें, हम लोग यही सोचते हैं कि हम पढ़ेंगे तो हम लोगों को इस चीज के बारे में जानकारी मिलेगी, लेकिन उसका मतलब जो स्टार्ट है वो कहाँ से होता है, कैसे होता है, इन चीजों के बारे में हम लोगों को इतना ज्यादा आइडिया नहीं रहता।
वैसे मैं आपसे बिल्कुल एग्री करूंगा कि सदगुरु जी जो है इनकी वीडियोस को जो है इनकी बातों को समझना इतना आसान नहीं होता, काफी ज्यादा मुश्किल होती है। लेकिन अगर बात की जाए ना जो अभी आपने की है, देखें अगर इंसान अपने आगे एक लिमिट लगा लेगा ना तो इंसान कभी कुछ सीख नहीं पाएगा। अगर उसने कुछ सीखना है, कुछ जानना है, तो उसे वो लिमिट्स जो है वो लाजमी क्रॉस करनी पड़ेंगी। वो अक्सर आप मुझे कहती हैं ना, कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर निकलो तो कुछ होता है। तो बेसिकली इंसान का भी अगर देखा जाए तो वो इसी तरह की, अगर उन्हें कुछ सीखना है, कुछ जानना है, तो उसे अपना जो है एक कंफर्ट जोन, एक लिमिट जो है वो छोड़नी पड़ती है। फिर उसके बाद नो डाउट आपकी जो आने वाली जनरेशंस होती हैं उन तक आप एक लिमिटेड चीज़ें ट्रांसफ़र कर सकते हैं, लेकिन सीखने की और आगे चीज़ों को समझने की चाह जो होती है वो इंसान के अंदर से ही एक पैदा होती है।
बट आई थिंक जो पहले के टाइम के लोग थे जहाँ से ये चीजें स्टार्ट हुई होंगी, ऑब्वियसली कंफर्ट जोन तो एक अलग चीज है जो हम आज के टाइम में देखते हैं, बट उस टाइम पर ऑब्जर्वेशन, मुझे लगता है ऑब्जर्वेशन से ये चीजें ट्रांसफर हुई होंगी जो कि नॉलेज बनी होगी और लोगों को समझ में आई होंगी। और हम लोग डिफरेंट मीडियम्स देखते हैं पुराने टाइम में कि किस तरह से कभी दीवारों पर चीजें बनाई गई ताकि वो जो मैसेज है, वो नॉलेज है, वो कन्वे किया जाए, कभी पत्थरों पर बनाई गई, कभी हम देखते हैं दरख्तों की छाल पर वो जो है वो लिखा गया। तो डिफरेंट मीडियम्स के थ्रू नॉलेज तो नो डाउट जो है वो ट्रांसफर किया गया, बट हाँ उससे पहले की सोच आपको आती है किसने स्टार्ट किया, कैसे हुआ, कैसे चीजें हुई। और इंसान जिस चीज की आरजू करता है नो डाउट वो पाता है उस चीज को, उसके लिए एफर्ट भी करता है। बट मुझे लगता है कि कुछ चीजें इतनी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड शायद बना दी जाती हैं या आपको समझ में नहीं आती उस तरीके से, क्योंकि कभी उनकी डिस्कशन नहीं हुई। बट जहां तक मैं अब चीजों को समझ पाई हूँ कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे मैंने पहले भी बोला था कि सनातन धर्म के बारे में अगर हम लोग बात करें तो हर चीज को के लिए ग्रैटिट्यूड शो किया जाता है। आप बाउ डाउन करते हो उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप उसकी वर्शिप कर रहे हो, इट मीन्स कि आप वो हर चीज मैनिफेस्टेशन है ऊपर वाले की, तो आप उसको हर चीज में देखते हो। तो मुझे लगता है कि उस लिहाज से, उस सोच से लोगों को समझाना और लोगों को बताना बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट है। इवन मतलब जो मुझे लगता है कि जो आउटसाइडर हैं उनके लिए ये चीज़ें समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है। और अभी जैसे जैसे लोगों को चीज़ें समझ में आ रही हैं, वो उनको और लॉजिकल लगती हैं और वो उनको और अच्छे से एक्सेप्ट कर पा रहे हैं, एम्ब्रेस कर पा रहे हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जब आपके सवालों के जवाब मिलते हैं आपको, तो आप थोड़ा डिफरेंट तरीके से सोचना शुरू हो जाते हो। और बॉडी वाला जो बात की गई थी, वाकई में मतलब हम भी अपने बड़ों से ये चीज सुनते आए हैं। फिर वही बात आ रही थी कि हाफ बेक्ड नॉलेज हम लोगों को मिलता है, तो हम लोगों को पता नहीं होता चीजों का। लेकिन हाँ, ऐसा जरूर बोला जाता है कि जब आप मर जाते हो तो आपके बारे में, आपकी बॉडी को नहीं, आपकी रूह को पता नहीं होता कि आपके साथ क्या हो रहा होता है। और बड़े भी ये कहते हैं कि जो ये आपकी बॉडी है, ये एक लिबास की तरह, एक कपड़े की तरह है जो कि चेंज हो जाती है। ठीक है, तो जो रूह है जब आप मर जाते हो उस टाइम पर आपको नहीं पता होता कि आपके साथ क्या होता है। जब उसको मतलब अभी अगर मुस्लिम फेथ के अकॉर्डिंग बात करूं तो ऐसा बोला जाता है कि जब उसको नहलाया जाता है, जो डेड बॉडी है, तो उस टाइम पर उसको पता चलता है, रियलाइज होता है कि मैं अब नहीं हूं इस दुनिया में। उससे पहले जब वो बाकी सब लोगों को देख रहा है कि रो रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है, उसको नहीं आइडिया होता। हाँ, ये जो नेल्स वाली बात और हेयर वाली बात है, ये मैंने पहले सुनी थी, हमने सदगुरु की एक वीडियो देखी थी आई थिंक, जहां पर मैंने ये चीज सुनी थी। तो बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी हैं जो हमारे पास, मैं कहूंगी कि आधा अधूरा नॉलेज है, जो कि आपको जो पूरी सिचुएशन है, ये लॉजिक है, वो नहीं दे पाता।
इसमें कोई शक नहीं कि मैं थोड़ी स्टार्टिंग ये थोड़ा पीछे से बात करूं, जहाँ पे आपने जो है पुरानी चीज़ों की बात की, तो नो डाउट हम लोग जब पुरानी चीज़ें देखते हैं तो हम काफ़ी ज़्यादा हैरान होते हैं, क्योंकि अगर आज के टाइम की बात कीजिए, हमारे पास बहुत ज़्यादा टेक्नोलॉजी है, रिसर्च हो रही चीज़ों पे, लेकिन जो है ना, हमने कभी ये नहीं सोचा कि यार ये एक चीज़ हमारे सामने बनी बनाई आ गई, कैसे आई है। लाजमी बात है उसके पीछे भी बहुत सारे लोगों की जो है एक मेहनत रही है। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैं अगर जहाज़ की एक जो है वो एग्जांपल दूं, ठीक है ना, हमें ये तो पता है कि भाई दो भाइयों ने मिलकर जहाज तो बना दिया, ठीक है ना, लेकिन उससे पहले भी कितने ज्यादा लोग एफर्ट्स करते रहे, कितने ज्यादा लोगों की जान गई, हमें मोस्टली लोगों का नहीं पता, ठीक है ना। तो ये कि हम लोग जो है ना वो बस एक लिमिटेड रिसोर्स की, यानी कि वही आपकी वाली बात की आधा अधूरा नॉलेज जो है, हम लोग उसी को पढ़ते हैं, उसी पर यकीन रखते हैं, लेकिन उस आधे अधूरे नॉलेज से पहले का जो नॉलेज है ना, वो हम तक नहीं पहुंच पाता। और जहां तक मरने की बात है तो नो डाउट कहते हैं कि मुर्दा सामने पड़ा होना तो बहुत सारे लोगों की जो होती है ना वो अपना, यानी कि उन्हें याद आना शुरू हो जाता है। लेकिन मैंने यहाँ पर एक चीज़ नोट की कि ये भी जो है ना सिर्फ एक लिमिटेड टाइम के लिए लोगों को जो है ना याद रहती हैं चीज़ें, कि जो है ये हमें भी मरना है, हमारे साथ भी ये सारी चीज़ें होनी है। जब वो वहाँ से उठ के जाते हैं, फिर वही जब ज़िंदगी की एक रंगीनियाँ, एक रूटीन दोबारा शुरू होती है ना, तो सब वो चीज़ें ख़त्म हो जाती हैं।
और यहाँ पर मैं बात करूँगी, जितना मतलब आप डीपली सनातन धर्म को पढ़ते हो ना और जानते हो, मुझे लगता है कि आपको और लॉजिकल चीज़ों के बारे में पता चलता है। आपको आपके मुझे लगता है कि जहन में और ज्यादा सवाल आते हैं कि ऐसे क्या हुआ होगा, ऐसे। जब आपको उन सवालों के जवाब मिलना शुरू हो जाते हैं ना, तो आपको और ज्यादा मजा आता है। अभी अगर मैं बात बोलूँ ड्यूरिंग हमारी इस जर्नी 3.5-4 साल की, मैं बोलूंगी कि मुझे चीज़ों का इतना ज़्यादा आइडिया उस तरह से नहीं होता था। लाइक हम लोग अक्सर, मैं बोलती थी कि मुझे स्पेस के बारे में इतनी ज़्यादा नॉलेज नहीं रहती थी, लेकिन अभी धीरे धीरे चीज़ों के बारे में जो हम पढ़ते हैं, कॉस्मोस के बारे में पढ़ते हैं, मल्टी यूनिवर्स के बारे में पढ़ते हैं, जिसका कॉन्सेप्ट सनातन धर्म में दिया गया, इवन के मेटावर्स के बारे में भी सनातन धर्म में डिस्कस किया गया है। और अभी कल ही मेरे मतलब आंखों के सामने सोशल मीडिया एक पेज था, उसके ऊपर से ये न्यूज जब मैंने देखी तो आपको क्लिक करती हैं ये चीजें कि जो H&M जो है मतलब ब्रांड है, उस स्टोर ने अपना जो थीम है वो मेटावर्स पर रखा हुआ है। तो आप जब ये चीजें पढ़ते हो ना कि आपने कहीं और भी इस के बारे में जिक्र सुना हुआ है, तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आप खुद ही उस साइड पर ना इंक्लाइंड होना शुरू हो जाते हो, उन चीजों की तरफ आप जानना चाहते हो कि क्या हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है। और इतने सालों पहले जो है इन चीजों का जिक्र कर दिया गया था, तो डेफिनेटली उन लोगों के पास नॉलेज था जो कि आज के टाइम को भी, अगर मैं अभी के लोगों की बात करूं तो वो मैच नहीं करते। तो इसीलिए मुझे लगता है कि वो जो एक गैप आया है ना, वो चीजें हम लोगों, हमारे जैसे जो आम लोग हैं ना, उनको आसानी से समझ नहीं पाते या उनको डाइजेस्ट नहीं कर पाते। उसके लिए आपको बहुत ज्यादा एक वाकई में किसी गुरु की भी जरूरत पड़ती है और बहुत इन डेप्थ में आपको चीजें समझनी पड़ती हैं। जैसे कि सदगुरु ने बीच में बोला कि वाकई में एक गुरु का जो एक काम होता है ना, वो यही होता है कि जो चीजें हम लोगों को समझ में नहीं आ रही या जो हमें बहुत ही, हम कहेंगे कि हमारी सोच से परे हमें लगती हैं, समटाइम्स हम उन्हें सुपरस्टिशियस भी बोल देते हैं, उन चीजों को हम लोगों को हम कहेंगे कि उसका एक क्लियर हमें पिक्चर दिखाना कि ये किस तरह से हो सकता है, क्या चीजें कैसे होती हैं। क्योंकि बिलीव करना चीजों पर, ये भी मुझे लगता है कि एक बहुत ही मुश्किल काम है आज के टाइम में। तो ये सारी चीजें जो हैं वो एक गुरु का काम होता है कि किस तरीके से वो आपके सामने क्लियर करता है।
या मैं अगर पुराने वक्तों में जाऊँ ना, यानी कि अगर आप वहाँ पे चीजें उनकी उठा के देखें तो आपको जो है ना ऐसे ऐसे वाकयात, ऐसे ऐसे किस्से सुनने को मिलेंगे जो आप यकीन जो है उन पे करना ना आपको बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल हो जाता है। आपको लगता है यार ये कैसे जो है रियलिटी हो सकती है। जैसे अगर हम पुराने लोगों की बात करें तो यानी कि बहुत ज़्यादा पुराने लोगों की बात नहीं, 200-300 साल पीछे अगर हम चले जाएं तो ऐसा सुनने को मिल रहा था कि लोगों के पास कुछ ऐसी नॉलेज होती थी, ऐसी जानकारी होती थी कि वो जो आपको बताते थे एग्जैक्ट उसी तरह चीज़ें जो है वो हुआ करती थी। लेकिन अगर अब आकर देखें तो अब तो क्या नाम लेते, चीजें बहुत ज्यादा चेंज हो चुकी हैं ना। लेकिन अगर आप जब वो चीजें सोचने बैठते ना कैसे ये हो सकता है, तो वो बहुत सारे आपके जो है ना दिमाग के क्वेश्चन मार्क लग जाते हैं। तो नो डाउट वहाँ पे आपको एक ऐसे शख्स की ज़रूरत पड़ती है जो नॉलेजेबल हो, जो आपको उसके बारे में बता सके। आज के वक्त में जो सबसे बड़ा जो मसला जो मुझे देखने को मिलता है कि आपको जो सही मायनों में जो आपके ना कि नॉलेजेबल बंदा मिले वो आपको बहुत ज़्यादा यानी कि रेयर है, ना होने के बराबर है। मोस्टली आपको ऐसे लोग मिलेंगे जो आपके क्वेश्चन मार्क के आगे एक और क्वेश्चन मार्क खड़ा कर देंगे।
यहाँ पर एक और चीज़ जो मेरे भी जहन में आई मौजूद की बात सुन के, कि जैसे मौजूद बोला कि 200-300 साल पहले की अगर हम लोग बात कर लें तो वहाँ यहाँ मतलब ऐसे इंसान हुआ करते थे जो कि जिनके पास हम कहेंगे कुछ शक्तियां भी हुआ करती थी, मतलब जो
नॉलेज हुआ करता था।
नॉलेज के साथ साथ ऐसी पावर्स भी हुआ
वही ना,
सिर्फ नॉलेज की पावर नहीं, मतलब कि लाइक हम लोग ऐसा मतलब बड़ों से सुनते हैं कि ऊपर वाले ने उनको कुछ खास पावर दी गई हुई है कि जिसकी वजह से वो कुछ कर सकते हैं, कुछ समझ सकते हैं चीजों को। वो
यानी कि ऐसी, सॉरी आपको इंटरप्ट कर दिया, ऐसी उनके पास नॉलेज होती थी कि आपकी परेशानी अगर फॉर एग्जांपल है उन्हें पता चल जाता तो वो उस चीज को रियलाइज कर लेते थे।
नहीं, वो एक अलग चीज है। मुझे समझ आ रही है कि मौजूद को लग रहा है कि मैं नॉलेज के बारे में बात नहीं करी। नॉलेज तो उनके पास नो डाउट बहुत ज्यादा होता था, लेकिन अभी मैं जैसे बात करती हूँ कि जैसे कि महाभारत में हम लोग देखते हैं कि हम लोगों ने देखा कि एक जो वान है वो चलाया जाता था, वो समटाइम्स बहुत सारे भी बन जाते थे, उसमें से किसी में से फायर निकलना भी शुरू हो जाता था। अब आकर नो डाउट में जब ये सारी चीजें देखती हूँ, आई डू बिलीव कि ऐसा वाकई में होता होगा। और उसकी रीजन ये है कि ये हम 200-300 साल पहले की अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं ना, कि किसी बंदे के पास एक ऐसी लोगों ने मतलब चीजें देखी जिसको हम बोल देते हैं कि मिराकल हो जाता है। तो लोग इस तरह से बोलते हैं हाँ इसको, ठीक है ना, और उसको मतलब मौजम उर्दू में शुक्र है समझ गया है मैंने क्या कह रही हूँ। तो हम लोग ये भी मैं मतलब मान सकती हूँ कि भाई उस टाइम पर ये चीजें होती होंगी, क्योंकि अब की लाइफ उस लाइफ से बहुत डिफरेंट थी। ये कुछ 100 साल पहले की बात है, वो हजारों साल पुरानी चीजें हैं। सो दिस इज माय पॉइंट कि ऐसा होता होगा, ये कुछ भी काल्पनिक नहीं होता। और बाकी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, आई एम श्योर उसमें से आज की डिस्कशन में तो बहुत सारी ऐसी बातें होंगी कि जो हम लोगों को समझ भी नहीं आई होंगी थोड़ी बहुत, और थोड़ी कुछ ऐसी होंगी जो हम लोग डिस्कस करना भी भूल गए होंगे। बट बाकी आप जरूर कमेंट सेक्शन में हमारे साथ शेयर कीजिएगा जो आपको सबसे ज्यादा अच्छा समझ में आया हो। और इसके साथ साथ जो सेकंड पार्ट है वो हम कल देखेंगे। और अब हमें दे इजाजत, हमारे वीडियो
लाइक, सब्सक्राइब, शेयर,
बस इन योर प्रेयर्स,
गुड बाय।